One of the comments I get all the time is I cannot make my magical crimping plier work. So today we're going to troubleshoot the magical crimping plier. I'm going to show you all my tips to making it work. Hello, welcome to The Stylish Maker. My name's Carol. We've been having a bit of a discussion over in the Jewel Box group over the last few days about the magical crimping plier and how to make it work properly. I also get comments on my YouTube videos all the time that people can't make the magical crimping plier work. So today I thought I'd take you through it step by step. I'll zoom in really close and I'll show you every step. So hopefully I can answer your questions and you can make yours work as well. I have my magical crimping pliers here. Now your magical crimping pliers, they have a divot in the end here that looks like half a bead. So it's just a round divot. And they also have, so it's on both jaws, and they also have a divot here. So when you close it, you can actually see there's a little hole in the pliers. Okay, so I've got some tiger tail and I've got some magical crimping tubes. Now you do not need to use magical crimp tubes. You can use other crimp tubes as long as they're 2mm by 2mm and they have a reasonably thick wall. So if I take some of these out, I'm using copper so that you can see them. Now one thing I have noticed with the magical crimp tubes, and I'll see if I can find one, is they're not always consistent in size. They're fairly consistent, but you can see that this one is not as large as the others. So this one won't work. It's too small. So I'm going to put it aside, put it over there. These ones are all fairly consistent in size, so I'm okay with that. So I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to feed on my crimp tube. And I'm going to bring my wire back down through the crimp tube because that's what we normally would do, just like that. Now I'm going to take my pliers and I want the crimp tube inside my plier like that. Now I've actually got it slightly to the left, so it's slightly further this way than it is this way. I'm going to squeeze it. Not too hard to squeeze. Now that's not crimped at all, okay, it's moving. But you can see that's what it looks like. Then I'm going to turn it on its side and I'm going to give it a good squeeze. But once again, not too hard. You don't want to damage it completely, so that's what that looks like. And it's still not holding. So I'm actually going to put the end of the crimp tube just on the edge of the divot so that I can feel it squash. And that time I felt it. And it's much firmer. Now I'm going to turn it and squish again. And I'm going to keep doing that until it's nice and tight and it looks like a little ball. So you can see I'm doing it a lot of times. Sometimes I have to do it like 6 times to get it looking and feeling like it should. So there you can see it's a nice round ball and it's nice and firm. It's not moving anywhere. I've got a nice round tube of cardboard here. I'm sure you all know what this is, but I'm going to demo with this how the pliers work on the crimp tube. So here's my crimp tube, and when I crimp it down, it crimps on the edges here and around this edge as well. And then when you turn it the other way, it kind of pushes this bit out so that these sides come in. And I know that's really hard to show you. I can't demo with a piece of cardboard like I did with the flat crimp, but I hope you get the idea. What it's doing is it's making it look like a ravioli. So the points of contact are actually just the sides of the crimp tube, and in the center it's not actually holding as well. Now people often say to me if it doesn't hold in the center then maybe it's not going to hold as well, but to be honest I've never had any of the crimp tubes fail unless I haven't crimped them properly, as in hard enough. So let's have another crack at doing one just so that I can show you again. So I'm feeding on my crimp tube. I am going to put my wire back down. I'm going to squash it. And I kind of tend to bring it, as I said, out to the left a little bit or the right, whichever one. just so that I can feel it squash flat like that. And now I'm going to turn it and squeeze it again, and you should be feeling it. You can see it's really munted looking. That's okay, keep going. Just keep turning and squashing, and it will eventually look how you want it to. Now it's nice and firm, and there it is. So you can see that I went round and round there quite a few times to get it looking and feeling like it was supposed to. And I think the problem most people have is they give up too soon. There's two things: either they're squeezing too hard or not hard enough, or they give up too soon. They think one squeeze, two squeeze, and it's done. And for me personally, it's never done after two. I asked my husband to do it, and he could do it in 3 squeezes because he's a bit stronger than me. But it's about kind of getting it, just playing with it until you get it right. So I hope that helped you. If you are interested in joining the Jewel Box group, by the way, we have lots of interesting discussions over there. I'll leave you a link in the description box for a 7-day free trial, and that way you can try it out and see if you like it. There's no risk at all. If you're interested in making the jewelry I'm wearing today, I made this one in the Book Lovers tutorial I did a little while ago, and the earrings I made on a live stream with the Jewel Box group just today actually. So hopefully you enjoyed this one and it answered your questions. If it did, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you won't miss anything, and also give me that thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon.